they come. No touching fists for these two. Zack Snyder throwing an early punch that connects.
As he continues to throw the jab, that's a good strategy here, just getting used to his opponent. And Josh Eggie backing up from Zack Snyder, but a nice little counter punch there landed on the chin of Zack Snyder.
Also a nice combination from Snyder after that, as both these fighters exchange punches early. Eggie mentioned he'll need quick feet to stay away from Zack Snyder. Snyder temporarily getting the takedown, but Eggie quick back to his feet.
It was a nice shot, but you have to continue on and go through that. And pushing him up against the cage is a tactic we see. We see Zack Snyder's head. Now it's come free, so not in danger of necessarily being choked out, but looking for the takedown here and trying to get through. If he could pop that elbow off the back of his head, he'd be able to go through.
Well, and trying to take his back from a standing position, not something you see all that often in MMA, a guy able to slip the back and get in there. But you're right, Jeremy, if he can just get his head under that elbow. And now it looks like Josh Eggie may be moving, and now that Zack has popped under that elbow and does have Eggie's back and is was looking for the suplex there, was unable to get it.
Yeah, he's going to ride this position, be nice and safe, make sure he ends up in control. The good thing is if he takes him down, he's going to be in a very good position. But a Kimura attempt here by Josh Eggie, and it looks like he's got it fairly tight. So Zack Snyder's in a little bit of trouble here, even though it appears he's in a dominant position.
Looks like Eggie may have let it go now, but their arms are still tangled up. But it is Zack Snyder inside in a half mount right now, pushing towards side control. A nice elbow to the ribs there to soften up Eggie's resolve. Eggie holding onto that one arm for everything it was worth for a while and tries to throw the big punch as he comes up, but doesn't connect, and these two fighters will go back at it.
Well, and the Kimura did its job. He didn't necessarily need to tap him out, and some big punches being thrown by both these fighters here, including a nice straight right by Zack Snyder, followed by a good left. Come on, says Josh Eggie. But the Kimura did its effective job in getting him back up to standing where he wants to be.
Eggie continuing to work forward. A nice teak there from Snyder. Keeps him at a distance. It seems like so far Snyder's getting the better of the striking here in round number 1 of 3. 3-minute rounds with just 26 seconds left on our Feature Productions fight clock.
Nice snap on the leg kick, but sounded good, not too much damage.
A little bit of a mouse underneath the eye of Josh Eggie now.
That was a better kick. Not good sound, but the shin landed right above the knee. 10 seconds remaining in this round now.
And Eggie secures a takedown now, but had himself in a bit of a guillotine before he pops out. A solid first round for these two fighters.
And both fighters coming out trying to find their range.
Again, Eggie in the black shorts, black trunks for Snyder, and again, a nice exchange there from Snyder, throwing combinations and seeming to land a couple punches. Even though Josh Eggie comes forward with the jab, it seems that Snyder uses that to measure him before hitting him, and that mouse getting a little bigger under the eye now of Josh Eggie.
Yeah, it's very technical striking here by Zack Snyder. He's coming in, and each one of his punches are landing very nicely on Josh Eggie's face, and it's not necessarily about power, but his accuracy. You can hit an accurate shot, and you see some knees being thrown by both these fighters, and Zack Snyder, again, using the pushing up against the cage technique against Josh Eggie.
Snyder and Eggie now bouncing out after Snyder held Eggie up on the cage for about 30 or 40 seconds. Eggie coming forward, his corner yelling out that he can walk through those punches. Zack Snyder would beg to differ, and the head snapped back from Josh Eggie, and a nice couple kicks to the midsection too that got through. Zack Snyder is landing strikes here in the middle of round 2.
Yeah, but Josh Eggie continues to come forward, and you see that the way that the action's going now is Eggie is the aggressor, and you see Zack Snyder counterpunching, and a nice shot there. We'll see how he can finish it up against the cage, right up in our grill, and looks to get those hands locked. The hands are locked now. He's going to look to finish as he tries to lift. Good defense here by Zack Snyder, hipping in every time Josh Eggie tries to lift him.
Snyder trying to execute a whizzer here, Jeremy, under the one arm, although he's let it go now. And Eggie again up against the cage. Snyder now looking for the standing guillotine, trying to choke out Josh Eggie. He's picking him up off his feet. And a tough spot here for Josh Eggie. Zack Snyder had him up against the cage, had him up off his feet, but no tap coming from Josh Eggie.
This is something that guys work every single day, and now he's modified it. And coming out is Josh Eggie. This is something they work on every day. The reason that they work their jiu-jitsu is not only to practice their technique and a nice takedown from Snyder, but to practice what it's like to feel like getting choked and where those limits are. And obviously Josh Eggie did not reach his.
Another takedown from Zack Snyder up against the cage, landing body shots is Josh Eggie, but so far so good. And the referee chatting it over with them. Moving into, I believe, trying to, a bit of a rubber guard there, but lets it go right away. Just 10 seconds remaining now in round number 2. And this one will end with Zack Snyder on top of Josh Eggie. Unlike the first round, now a little respect shown. They come out and touch gloves, and Zack Snyder immediately comes with a combination, including a leg kick.
Well, and a nice Superman punch there. It was slipped, but a little bit of damage caused by Josh Eggie. But Josh Eggie coming forward, he knows that he has to win this round if he wants a chance to win it. A nice attack there by Zack Snyder, countered nicely by Josh Eggie, and we'll see how this turns out.
Nice sprawl by Eggie, but Snyder doing a good job to get a hold of his ankle and drag it underneath him and move forward. Snyder almost missed that shot, but does now end up in a bit of a side control, although Eggie's sitting up, and Snyder doing a good job of protecting himself, although in a down position, not really going to get that punch in the head. I think that's training taking over, protecting your head in that spot. And now he's got his back. He's going to flatten him out. The rear naked choke is locked in. We'll see whether or not Josh Eggie gives up to this choke attempt. He seems to be slipping it. He's out on the side of it now. From the angle we have, it looks like it's not as deep as it was at the beginning, and Josh Eggie doing a good job of rolling into his opponent here, Jeremy.
Yeah, the classic defense is to attack the hands and to get your chin down. However you can manage to do that. Josh Eggie obviously putting a lot of time in the gym at Marauder MMA up in Edson with his training partners. This is one of those things you credit to your training partners for putting you in these situations, so when you get to them in a fight, you can come out on top, just like Josh Eggie has here. And at 1 minute 25 seconds left, he's got to prove that this round belongs to him.
Thought about letting him up. His coach is yelling, get in there, and get in there. He does. Again, no strikes to the head of a downed opponent here under amateur rules. Zack Snyder waiting this round out so far, is now on the bottom where he wanted to avoid being and had to this point in the fight. Josh Eggie on top in the guard of Snyder.
Well, and this is the first time he's ended up on the bottom here and trying a sweep, and he does. An excellent sweep, and now trying to lock his legs, but back on top is Zack Snyder, and trying for the same sweep again. I don't think Josh Eggie's going to let that one go twice in a row.
Snyder does have an arm here. We'll see if he can do anything with it, as punches come from Eggie while on top, trying to push it back and get that submission is Zack Snyder from the bottom, but it doesn't work out. Just muscles his way with a sweep on top and is now in the full mount. Not doing much with it to this point, but just 22 seconds left in the round as these two fighters just continue exchanging a dominant position, sweeping back and forth.
Yeah, at this point, I think that Zack Snyder feels confident that he's won this fight. I think this is just holding on to add some good measure to it. Some shots being landed by Josh Eggie. And again, it all depends on how they score this round and how that first round was scored. We go to a decision here at the 145-pound division between Josh Eggie and Zack Snyder.